some of the healthiest food we have are the foods that we grow too. I had a lot of apricots and some pears this year. Our neighbors donated some peaches to our cause, and so right now we have all kinds of yummy things out there, or you can get it, at the great natural grocers we were just talking about. But how do you take care of it? Because maybe you're not going to eat it right now. Maybe you want it in the dead of winter so you can pull out a little sunshine. So there's ways to do that. And our expert is Tom Toth, Prescott True Value Hardware.
Well, I'm by no means an expert,
but you have the tools. Okay.
We do have the tools, and I can educate you on how to do it.
Good, good. Well, kind of where do we start with?
Well, you know what? This year's been unusual because there's been an abundance of product grown.
Well, that rain has been great.
I had a lady come in the other day to the store, and she's looking for a fruit picker to get her peaches off her tree because she's got so many on the ground that she felt that was wasteful. And what we're going to talk about today is how you can kind of preserve some of that stuff. And like you said, use it throughout the year. Now, canning typically lasts for about a year. You don't want to use it for any more than that. And there's some simple methods you can do. And people get confused about how to do it and think it's a big process. But, after studying it and doing it, it's really not that big deal. It's about a 20-minute process.
It's not tough. I mean, I grew up with preserving Tom, so, I mean, this is, and it's fun. It's kind of it's always a family time for us because we had a garden. So, tomatoes and peaches and apricots and peppers and pickles and you name it. So
when I was a kid, my mom would make pickles, which is my favorite now. I love pickles.
Oh, yes.
And she'd always do, dill seed and pickles or cucumbers rather, and make these great dill pickles, and we enjoy them throughout the year. And they're fresh, organic. They're good for you, and it's just something that's kind of neat. And there's a lot of ways that people can do it. Now, this happens to be a pressure canner. So in a pressure canner, it increases or decreases the time frame in which you're going to can.
When you're doing the boiling part of sealing those jars up.
So what the biggest part about everything is that you want to wash your fruits or vegetable. You want to make sure that they're clean and they're free of any bacteria that may be on them. Then you can boil them, peel the skin off them, and then use your pressure canner after you put them in the jars to actually preserve them.
Yeah, and get them sealed up. And those cans, I mean, then when you take them out and you hear them pop, it's like, yes, they sealed. It's a success.
Exactly.
Well, and you have great jars over there at
great
Prescott
jars,
True Value.
Variety. The quart size wide mouth is probably the most chosen one. These are nice because every year for Christmas I get a jar of jelly from a customer or from an employee or something like that. And it's a special little
Wonderful
thing.
gifts, and you have different kinds of jars, jewel jars, you name real fancy ones or plain ones,
these
whatever
are
you
real basic, but we do have a variety of different jars that are colorful, that are ornate, and we have the basics as well.
And they're cute. Ball comes out with some really great stuff. And then this is a neat thing. So before you're getting them in the bottles, tell us.
So if you're going to do like a tomato, for example, and you want to make a salsa or a tomato sauce, the food mill is great because you can skin your tomato, put it in there, grind it real easy, and it'll kind of filter out all the seeds and stuff, and then put it in your jar.
Okay, now do you have to cook the tomato first, or do some of them you cook and some you don't?
Some you do, some you don't, depending on how you want to do it.
Okay.
If you want to have like a sauce, I would cook them first and then mill them.
Oh, okay, yeah, kind of. Even sometimes it's just a blanching.
Right.
I know, with tomatoes, you just kind of put hot water on them for a minute, and then you can peel them and stick them in there. Everything is different, but now here's a little magic canning set that you have.
This is actually, you're right, magic is the word. This is great. This is the essential kit for canning. So you have your wide mouth funnel, which is great for pouring in the jars and putting your food into that.
Oh, now this is so important because you can see that hole there is absolutely perfect. It's going to fit right in the top of that jar.
Yep.
And then it's larger, so you don't get slop all over the side, which is real important. This is
we talked about this earlier. This is great.
Essential. Now this is to when you're pulling them out of your canning jar. I mean, you can see how it's all insulated, so you don't have to use hot pads for yourself.
Nope.
And then these blessed little things keep your jar from breaking.
Yes.
And lift it right out of the boiling water, so it saves your fingers, and that's essential. But this is neat because it comes with, my gosh, it's got
some tongs in there. It has a stirrer. It has a scraping tool. things like that, jar openers. But
And a spatula. A spatula is great too. Now, I remember as a kid, now these are the small ones, but with a larger jar, you know, if you're putting peaches or apricots or something in there, you want them to go in and lay a certain way so that you can pack them. They're beautiful. Beauty is important in this canning thing, Tom.
It is. I understand.
I know. And so you've got a spatula in here, I see, and you put that at the bottom of your jar, and then you slide these, you know, your peaches or whatever in a certain direction down, and when they get done, they're so beautiful, they're gift worthy.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
I'm sure they don't taste better, but they're just
they look
beautiful,
good.
you know?
Part of that, too, is that you don't want to have an air gap at the bottom of the jar. So that's why you put the spatula in there, so the fruit or vegetables, whatever you're doing, sinks down.
You know more about it than you were letting on.
Oh, no. No. Here's one other tip, too, though, is you want to make sure if you're ever using a pressure canner that you let it cool down first. And I know that sounds stupid, but
before you open it?
Right.
Oh.
So you want to make sure that all the pressure is off of it. It takes about 20 minutes to pressure can a jar.
Oh my gosh, instead of like an hour or whatever in a water bath.
Right. And if you're using a blancher or if you're using a traditional canner, you know, it may take a little more time, but you make sure it always cools down. That jar lifter you don't want to take and put in boiling water. You got to make sure that that's absolutely settled before you pour it
Well, it's
out.
also dangerous for the jars to bring them from boiling to cold. I mean, they might shatter. And is this lovely book available? Because this will tell you everything we don't know.
This lovely book is available, and it's got some great recipes in it for, I know Patty was over here earlier looking at some apricot jam or something she was going to do. So it's a great book. It's made by Ball, which is the canning expert.
Our bottle.
And they have a lot of good things in here.
Okay.
We sell it at True Value, so it's a
So
great
all
place
you
to
need
get.
is Prescott True Value hardware, and you got it made. You got the book and all the equipment, and also advice too from Tom Toth.
Well, if I don't know it, my people in the store definitely do know it.
You've got the help that does. Tom Toth, thank you.
Thank you.
Prescott True Value Hardware, an awesome place to go for everything.